Well, welcome everybody. Let's get started. I'm Gabrielle. I'm with the Windermere North Sandpoint Hub, and we're going to start with around the room introductions. Why don't we start with Pamela and Beverly? And then Beverly, if you will call on somebody after that, that would be great.
My name is Pam O'Connell, and I am from Ravenna Park Hub, aka South Ravenna.
Okay. My name's, am I muted? No, my name's Beverly Lighty. I'm from Laurelhurst. Let's see, Anne.
Hi, I'm Anne. I am currently hubless, but I'm in West Seattle now. I'm going to call on Matt.
I'm Matt Blank, captain for the Ravenna X Stein Hub.
Jim on the City Hub.
Chris from North Capitol Hill.
Linda and Susie, and then Susie, if you want to call on a couple of people, if you can see some who haven't spoken.
Linda Norland, Lakewood Seward Park Hub.
Susie Scott, Broadview South. I think Mary and Ed.
So yeah, Mary and Ed, we're both here. The South Wallingford Hub.
Jody Grage, Ballard Commons Hub in Ballard.
Yeah, I'm Bill Fay with the Queen Anne Hub.
Sure, I'm Peter Shaw. I'll be working at the Ross Hub in Fremont.
Hi, I'm Rita, and we're bringing the South Highland Park Hub back to life.
Yay, great. Erica and Pat.
Hi, Erica, Highland Park Improvement Center Club, so North Highland Park apparently.
Pat Mork, up in the northwest corner, Broadview.
And it looks like we have Anne and Gina.
Anne Bond, Eastlake Hub.
Gina Hicks, Brayburn Hub.
Cindy, Morgan Junction.
Oh, Cindy, how could I forget? Okay.
Oh, Catherine from Hummer Harris.
Great, super. So the first item on the agenda is Chris Paulus, thoughts that came up from the fundraising committee.
Yes, myself and Catherine and Hugh met from the retreat, kind of going over some of the things around funding and organization. And so we put together a little slideshow.
Yep.
We're the long-term funding committee. And okay, so from the retreat, our purview or mission is about a long-term funding source being needed, and also discussion about 501c3, which is the technical IRS term for a nonprofit. And as we started to review that, we figured that that actually is way ahead of where we as an organization need to be discussing. So we started going back. This discussion is also not new and was discussed back in 2016, probably earlier than that. So on the Hub Drive, there's some sheet documents that go through all the different versions and pros and cons of each different item. So we went through and we updated that information to be current. And then at a high level, we started looking at the different ways that we can slice and dice problems or challenges or things that need to be worked on. There's accounting, there's fundraising, there's long-term fundraising, short-term fundraising. And then we really had our, light bulb moment, which was all these things are kind of circling around a different piece. And so, if you spin that around, you come into really like a triad, like a recycling logo that everything feeds into everything else. You have accountability and accounting, but you also have continuity and you have funds. And if you don't have funds, you can't have continuity. And if you don't have continuity, what's the point of having funds? But you also run into trying to figure out which step is first. Different people will have different opinions. We need to come up with, a mission first, or a structure first, or roles first. And we really, decided that all those really come down to the idea of how do we make decisions? That's what we got to figure out. And so from that, we're really looking at the importance, the reason for doing this is the growth of the group, right? Not having the structure or understanding the structure limits the growth and what we can do. It's also really important for change over time. We're an emergency preparedness group, but organizationally, we'd all agree that we'd be in a world of hurt if Anne or Cindy, decided to take a little break, or both decide to travel to Egypt at the same time. So that really was an important part that goes with it. And then, another thing that's really important that's easy to kind of overlook is that like a lot of our funding comes from the Seattle Neighborhood Grants Program. And so, we had discussions at the retreat that it's important to be separate from the city and has its advantages. But really, if we're depending upon a single funding source to maintain those hubs, and to, expand, that puts us at a strategic or an independent disadvantage. And I think, I started, really getting involved like a year ago, and I got to say, not kind of being able to understand different roles makes it difficult to bring new people in. If the first step for joining is you've been a member for 5 years, that's an organizational challenge. So I guess it's like our next steps. What we're looking at doing is doing some type of meeting or mini retreat after the summer, maybe mid-October, end of November, probably at a library, maybe a Sunday afternoon, just kind of getting those people who are interested in this topic together. Not really deciding for the group, this is exactly what we're going to do, but hopefully getting enough interested people that they would be the people who are at this meeting who would bring up points or suggestions, at that, so we can kind of figure out where we go from there, and then take that information and move it back to the group and, organize it and put it together and kind of, move it back in an iterative process. And of course, share the proposal, as I was saying, like with the entire group. So I'm going to type my email address into the chat. You can go ahead, now if you want to send me any information or, that you're interested. And then as we come out of summer, and after the drills and everything else, we'll start advertising it and that type of thing. And if you have a location that you're like, this is the perfect location, do it here. We were thinking of maybe doing it at some library, which is close to light rail, but we're not married to that idea. So I'm going to stop there so that if anybody has any questions, I don't just keep going.
I see Catherine has a question.
Well, it's a question and really more of a comment because I was on the committee, and I think just to get more down to brass tacks, we're talking about organizational model, and that's really the topic that frames anything about how you raise money, because we think the challenge is having an organizational model such that decisions can be made. And we know what that looks like. It has to work for us. But I know I've seen zillions of community councils and all the rest of it, and there's ways to do it really flexibly. But the model of you have an organization and it can maintain itself and bring in new people and grow them, and you have separate hubs, and what's the relation? So it's organization and relationship and accountabilities between them. So I'll stop there, but that's at least where, if we're talking about the topic, if people want to go do some research on organizational models and nonprofits, even that could be helpful background. I'm not an expert.
Yeah, and part of this is also, I think, dealing with the challenge which happens with a lot of like groups is, 10 people volunteer to be on X committee, but nobody's specifically in charge of that committee. So the committee ends up not meeting, or, reports aren't generated, that help out like other people. So that's kind of part of it. And, it's a challenge because we're starting from, kind of nothing, because this group is doing really well without having that. But I think, for the reasons laid out, it's helpful to kind of come up with like a little bit more. Sorry, and I see Hugh also. Hugh and Catherine were on our committee.
Yeah. So speaking of an organizational model, at the core, you would have to establish a board of directors, right? And you'd have to have directors, and
Well,
so
I
that
mean,
would almost function as a separate group?
Well, I think it depends, and that's part of what the group needs to figure out, is we can just come up with extra sets of like duties and rules, and still continue the way that we are now. Now, if we move all the way up for a fully incorporated and nonprofit group, we got to do those things. But at the very least, we got to do, figure out some ideas of how do we put people in charge and that sort of thing. So the board of directors, there's board of advisors, people sometimes have as well, and are all kind of in the mix or ingredients that might be used.
So Ann Forrest just raised her hand.
Thanks. Hey, I'd like to share I attended a briefing from an organization called Taproot that I think could be really helpful to help us move forward. I've only got a couple slides. It won't take me long at all, but I think they could be a great resource for us. So let me go through that real quick. So again, they're called Taproot. Everything they do is virtual because their volunteers are international. They support nonprofits. That's what they do. Their mission is to support nonprofits because they realize that a lot of nonprofits don't have the resources or the knowledge to really do the best work they can. I know we're not a nonprofit. I am 90% sure that they will take us based on what I heard in the presentation, but I also have an email out to them. They have some wording in their mission statement that makes me think I'd be really surprised if they didn't take us. So anyway, they empower mission-driven organizations by mobilizing skilled volunteers to advance resource equity. Fancy words. We connect you and your organization with skilled volunteers who donate their time and expertise pro bono. So these are people that are experts in their field that are willing to help for free. Our skilled volunteers are a mix of professionals. They are currently employed, they are independent contractors, and then some of them are experts who are in transition or who are retired. Organizations must be a 501c3 nonprofit to participate, with exceptions made on a case-by-case basis for organizations with a fiscal sponsor. So that's the kinds of questions that I've sent them, and I haven't heard back just yet. Examples of what they can help with: marketing and communications. They get experts doing graphic design, social media stuff, IT, and I just pulled out website design, but they do all kinds of IT struggles, issues. They can help with strategy, which is why I wanted to bring it up here. They just have been through this, and they can, if we choose to work with them, they can help us walk through what might make sense for our future. We don't know what it is. I don't even want to start researching what might work because I don't even know how you start thinking about this smartly. And then they can help with finance, fundraising, that kind of stuff. So those are just some of the areas they can find you experts in. Those were the ones that I thought were most pertinent to the network. So they offer two different products. The first one is projects, and that's you basically write a proposal and you say, this is what I need help with, this is what I want, and they go out and find you that volunteer. So it's kind of a long-term relationship, weeks, months, however long it takes to get you where you want to be. The other thing they offer is just called sessions, where you've got a question and you're trying to find an expert to give you the answer. So they offer those two kinds of services. That's it. Like I said, I've got to call out to the person, to somebody in the organization to ask whether or not they would be willing to work with us. But I thought it dovetailed nicely into what Chris said. Go ahead, Chris. It looks like your hand's up.
One of the resources as well, and one of the reasons, for reaching out to like the group before we meet, is another free resource. I'm just mentioning this in case people need it for other things. The Seattle Public Library has an entire business library department, and they have free weekly sessions with corporate attorneys from like Meta and Google and everything. And I've used them in the past to kind of answer questions. It's one of the things that comes up in this space is someone will hear that their aunt's uncle lost their nonprofit because they did something, and I'm not a lawyer, I can't say that's not true, but I've used them to like track down those things, and the lawyer says, no, that's not true, or maybe it's something else. So that's a great point, Anne, though, to like leverage those people who already know, have been there and, and lived what we're trying to do now.
There are a lot of things to be considered organizationally that don't have to do with fundraising. So I think it's important to realize that fundraising is only one of the things that should be considered when we talk about an organizational structure. So I don't have in my mind what all the groups were that came out of the retreat, but I think that we need to take a more kind of global look at the organizational pluses and minuses of various approaches, because fundraising is only part of what will be involved in making a decision about organization.
Thank you, Gina. And then Catherine.
Yeah, I was just going to say that I've worked with Taproot through Sustainable Capitol Hill. We had a guy come, well, he didn't come because it was all virtual, but he made a safety video for us. And so that was a good experience. And that also, if since Sustainable Capitol Hill is a nonprofit, I created the nonprofit thing many years ago. So if you needed a fiscal sponsor or whatever, we could certainly provide that.
Well, you all exactly addressed a couple very pertinent concerns. Thank you. I was going to mention that we came smack up against fundraising. Doesn't matter if there's no way to manage it and there's no organization with a mission and a way of understanding that we're going to be paying for the IT every year, and what is it? I mean, we got stuck on, we don't have the accountable organization to even, we agree who's responsible for what and how does it all connect, and who's the group that comes together and say, are we meeting our priorities? We feel a little bit at sea, so we could raise money. So what? So we're all hitting a certain set of impediments, and getting help for that would really help. And I just will mention, you're not going to be able to be a 501c3 without, I believe, some real organizational development and practice for like a couple years. I don't think you can't say we're going to be a 501c3 and then hustle up and give people titles and go, okay. And, I don't feel comfortable doing that. I feel more comfortable with everybody who is playing a role. All the committee heads from our retreat are a great start, really thinking about how are we organized.
Yeah, and I think that's the important part is each of us, because of our history, are going to come at one important thing we should do is this. But chances are we're not going to all agree on what that one thing is. But we do agree that we need something, and it's kind of working through that process. I don't think it would be naive to think that we could do 1 or 2 retreats and have this all solved. But I think it can definitely start pointing us in the right direction, that we evolve and move from there. So.
Thank you, Chris. I have some thoughts, but I will leave them for now. Any other last questions before we move forward? I know Chris has to get off, so we want to respect his time.
Gabrielle, can we set a goal? What's the next step? Do we do anything? Do we talk about this in 2 months?
I thought the proposal was they plan a retreat for the fall.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So when we come kind of out of summer, we'll not the same presentation, but we'll mention we're going to be having something, and maybe I'll have a sign up form then. You guys feel free to reach out to me now, but then we'll kind of move forward to the about to think about it, and then we'll actually start thinking about it at the mini retreat or whatever we want to call it.
And I think given the time we have, even giving people some ideas of kind of maybe sharing what you had or some ideas about what they could think about. You might get some feedback from people who can't make it to the retreat that could be useful as you move along too.
Yeah. If anybody's interested, in that, even that conversation level, please go ahead and send me an email and I can just, CC out whatever it is, we have as kind of things come up. But I don't want to bombard the mailing list with, I today came up with an idea that the board should be called, I don't know, the committee or for whatever reason. So, but just, feel free to reach out. We've been discussing this. It's been, really helpful. And I think the more people, the better. Because again, this is not the three of us or a few of us making a decision. This is going to be kind of all of us. So the more, subgroup that is all of us, the better it's going to be.
Great. Thanks, Chris. That was good. And I grabbed your email, so I'll put it in the notes on the agenda. All right, thank you. The next item, Frank, is fundraising through the Seattle Parks Foundation.
I'm going to address that quickly. Frank wasn't able to make it. He and his group, Madison Valley, wrote a grant and used Seattle Parks Foundation as their fiscal sponsor. And those of you on the call that have had a grant, at least working with me, I think the only fiscal sponsor I've ever had has been Seattle Parks Foundation. Anyway, they are able to continue to get donations under the umbrella of Seattle Parks Foundation's 501c3. So it's like you could write it off on your taxes if you're in that situation. So, and Seattle Parks helps them with it. I don't know exactly how. Anyway, Frank couldn't make it. That's all I know. He's going to do a little bit more research and show up in probably 2 months.
To the hub drill.
Yep. So that's me again. Thank God Cindy's back in town. She has been doing a massive amount of promotion for this drill, which is not my strong suit. So I think we're doing okay. About half of you have gotten your pre-staged have needs forms and your pre-staged volunteer forms, so you can load your pantry organizer or whatever, however you're going to organize your stuff. So scenarios have been delivered to about half of you. So I think we're doing okay. I'm going to put the link in chat to everybody. That one link will get you to all of the sign up links. So the hub captains that are participating have been working hard getting their neighbors to fill those roles. Volunteer coordinator, greeter, information manager, hub manager, all those roles. But we're getting down to the tail end of this. So if you would like to participate, and we would love to have other hub captains participate, please visit this link, go to the hub closest to you, and sign up to do a job. We all learn by doing, and it's kind of that time. So I will put the link in there, and please sign up and help your fellow hub captains. Any questions about the hub drill?
Can I just go back to the publicity and share about that? I've also been copying and pasting and putting stuff on Nextdoor. So it helps the algorithm if you see that, if you comment, and if Department of Neighborhoods has a good post, you can cut and paste. And then at the bottom, just say, I copied this from Department of Neighborhoods. Makes it really easy if you just say where you got it from. Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Ann.
Yeah, it builds momentum. Just liking a post, like it, and then write a sentence, can't wait to learn, anything like that. Jumps it up to the top of the feed and makes it look like we just have more momentum. And momentum, begets momentum.
Finding the hand.
Cindy, yeah.
Oh, Andy.
So that's what I've been spending my past 2 days on. And tonight I will put in I've got canned press thing. So Gabrielle, if you can send me your Nextdoor post, I'm not sure I can find you up there.
No, you can. I'll send it to you.
Send it to me, and it goes like here's a short post, here's a longer calendar, here's the whole blog posting that Department of Neighborhoods did. Here's our webpage, and here's Anne's ruminations on why we do these exercises. It's a nice little suite of cut and paste whatever you want, right? So I just got that finished. I don't have the formal press release for the Seattle Times written yet, but I will get that in the Google Drive for Rumble ready. And then before we leave exercise, I have one weird topic coming up yet. And I saw Chris wave his hand.
I'm sorry, I was waving goodbye. I didn't mean to. Bye, guys.
Oh, thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
That was all I had on publicity. Anything else, Ann?
No, not unless somebody's got questions.
Looking for questions?
And I did not go to any of your pre-drill things. How did those go?
I thought really well. Good questions. I can definitely see progress this year as compared to last year. People are wanting resources sooner. They're organizing, getting canopies if they don't have enough. They're asking for some signage. So I got the feeling last year, A, I didn't get things out super early, and B, people waited to the last minute to prepare. So I'm watching the whole system being backed up, and we're getting stuff done sooner, which is really nice. Maybe next year it won't be such a struggle for anyone like me.
No, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. You guys are moving out.
Shit.
Yep.
Great.
So the two odd things I have are Ann Bond put a call out for canopies. So anybody on the call who didn't see that, if you've got an extra one because your hub's not activating and you're not dragging it to where you're going to go visit, would you please let her know? I think most of mine ended up being committed for West Seattle, but we can work it. But please let her know if you can help out. Because I'm doing a lot of the PR, I'm getting responses from people, and we are starting to get confirmations from officials about who's going to go where. So we know where our fire department representative might go. We have somebody who's going to film at a couple of the hubs, one on one weekend and one on the other. I'm going to let those hub captains be aware of that. And then my request tonight is we have a visitor who's driving up from San Jose to watch the exercise. He's going to be in a camper van, and he needs a place to park, so he can, be here for the day of. And Ann's in an apartment now, and I have a driveway that's 4 feet long. So is anybody got space that they can let this guy camp in their driveway? Okay, Jody and Pat, I will follow up with you too. He is starting the hubs in his neighborhood, and they had their first exercise last week. So, and he wrote a glowing, they had certain members who were kind of were worried about this, and they came to him afterwards and said, this worked so good, and we had so much fun, and we're so energized. So really good. Pat?
Will he come to my hub and do a roll?
Yeah, he did. I haven't sent him anywhere yet. And this is.
All right, well, I'll treat him really special.
He would be thrilled.
I'm trying to find I'm keeping track of who said they're coming. Now I've lost it. He's coming on the 9th. You're not activating on the 9th though?
No.
Yeah.
But if he still needs a place.
Yeah. Okay. Jody?
We're activating on the 9th, and I have a long driveway.
Okay.
Well, not long, but certainly long enough.
Great. I'll talk to you two. You might be my prime one since you are activating, so that would be great. Okay. Thank you guys very much.
All right. I'll send you my blurb, Cindy, if you're gonna copying out of next door. The links are all wonky. So, and Anne, I would just say that you sent out an email and it had embedded links. And then when I copy that to next door, those links don't copy. So if you could also, just because it's easier if everybody can just cut and paste, if you can include the plain links as well, and then they can delete whatever doesn't work for them.
Excellent. I'm learning. Thanks.
Yeah, it's hard, you know, and I've already told Ann I like Word better than PDFs because PDFs you can attach, but you can't cut and paste as easy. Banners and yard signs developed by Ballard Hubs.
Ooh, can we skip me and go to the next item agenda so I can show you the pictures?
Sure. Distribution of I am safe welfare message packets, and that's you, Cindy.
Yep. Was I smart enough to put a slide together? No, I'm gonna hold up. So I do not remember where I gave the first batch of these. Oh, it was at the training workshop for everybody who came to do the I am safe. But I will have these for all other hubs who want them. I'm not gonna make everybody get one. So I'm building them sort of like just in time. I've got about 20 more built now ready to distribute. But even if you didn't attend the training, having the packet in your hub box in case you have somebody with capacity to pick it up and open it and go, oh, here's all the instructions on how we do welfare I am safe messages. So you get the packet, you get the thumb drives, and I just need to get them to people. So I'd either like you to put your name in the chat or send me an email. So because I just need people to tell me, not me call people and go, did you want one too? So I'd appreciate that. And then if I run short, I'll build some more. That's it.
Now, oh, is this like what Ann might have recently given some of us? Is it the same?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, great. Thanks.
Yeah.
Ann, did you take extras to distribute?
Just the ones I took from our original training.
Okay, I didn't realize you took a batch, so.
Yeah, I walked away with like 6 of them or something like that.
You're entering them in the spreadsheet?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I know, panic.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
So I just want to show you, just to let you know this is available. So the Ballard Hubs got together, wrote a grant, and we included money for banners. So this is I don't know, I think it's a 2 foot by 4 foot. I don't remember what size it is. But anyway, super easy to do. This is available from Vistaprint. Easy to change their website address down here and their email down here. Easy to change if you have money, if you want, if you're in a grant, whatever. If you want to do something like this, it's already created. If you like this, and if you don't like it, you can change it. So that's one banner. Here's a second banner. And I got this idea from, this is not me creating this stuff. This is Linden Orland, Lakewood Seward Park. They did a kind of a version of this. So this is, a little more words, but basically it tells the 4 functions that the hub does. So that's another banner, same size. And then the last thing I wanted to show you was what we're calling a directional yard sign. So this is like the campaign signs that you see everywhere, really thin, corrugated plastic. You stick the H wire through it and you stick it in the ground. So we kind of dallied around with a lot of different versions of this with arrows and which way does the arrow point and all that kind of stuff. What we ended up with is a significant amount of white space and even some white space over here on the side. So you can write the name of your hub. You can write the address of your hub and a big fat black arrow somewhere pointing in whatever direction makes the most sense for your hub and where you're putting your sign. So that in a disaster, you can send somebody out with a black marker, these signs, and they can help guide your neighbors to the hub. Again, they don't take up much room in the box. So just thought that was a really, really smart idea. Again, wanted to share it with you. Easily duplicated, or you can change it or whatever. I'm happy to give you the code in Vistaprint, or you can start from scratch or whatever. But just wanted to let you know that that was out there and available if somebody has cash and wants to do it.
Great.
That's all I had.
Okay. So we talked about the visitor, Cindy, that's already done. Committee updates.
there's a question in chat saying, can you review which hubs are activating on which dates, please?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Let me get to that map. So the map is online. Not super easy to share without it being small. So maybe just a list would have been more helpful, but I'll go from the top, from the north down. So the orange stars are June 1st. The blue stars are June 9th. So on June 1st, it's Lake City, Broadview at the Grace Lutheran Church. Down here is sort of in Fremont. This is the Ross Park Hub. This one is Bill Fays in West Queen Anne. This is Eastlake and Bonn. Further down, sorry, my Zoom thing's in the way. Further down here is Hope Lutheran in West Seattle with Dolores Canis. So that's June 1st. Again, from the top, June 9th. This is Lake City, Fred Meyer, Susanna Cunningham. This is, oh, I forgot my old hub. Victory Heights is also June 1st. So back to June 9th. This is Wedgwood, Norma Jenner. This is the Hunter Tree Farm in Wedgwood. This is Jim Durand in Finney. He's on June 9th. This is Ballard Commons with Jody Grage. She's on June 9th. This triple threat right here is Madison Valley. They are closing down a street. I got to take the food trucks for dinner off because they're not doing that. So Madison Valley, this one is Homer Harris on June 9th at Homer Harris Park. Catherine Keller, and then Gina Brayburn. Gina Hicks with the Brayburn Hub. She's June 9th as well. So like I said, triple threat there in like the Central District. So I think I hit them all. Go ahead, Cindy.
I found that for people, it's just easier because some things aren't interactive. Like I have to send things to people who print rather than it's online. So I have all those I copied all that stuff you put in there with the address and the details of like, you know, we're closing this street. So that'll be in that press stuff I put in. And in our Rumble Ready folder, it also has that static map. So you could, you know, put that on whatever media you're using. But I will actually have the street addresses because not everybody knows where the Grace Lutheran Church is or whatever, right?
Hey, while you're bringing up the church, go ahead, Susie.
Yes.
As I say, the church is sold. It's no longer even Grace Lutheran Church. So we are working with the new owners, but for this one, we're actually having our drill in the street at the intersection of 112th and Finney. So
yeah, I didn't have the church. I just had that street closure. Yeah.
Yeah. That's Pat. She did a great job.
Hey, can I brag about Pat Mork for just a second?
Please.
She got a grant pushed through Department of Neighborhoods in 7 days. 7 working days.
Only because.
Is that right, Pat?
Am I unmuted?
No,
You're unmuted.
Only because you were with me for the first 3 days of it nonstop. So
we were holding hands.
Yes,
but
we were.
I'm so impressed. Somehow Pat sweet talked Department of Neighborhoods. Thanks.
I'm very grateful.
Yeah.
Was that one of the small sparks or was it some other program?
Small sparks.
Yeah.
Small sparks.
Do we have any? Yeah, that's great. Do we have any other committee updates we need to hear from? Okay, Cindy, I sent you my blurb. Yeah, I know a lot of people don't like Nextdoor because it's very it's like Facebook on a bad day. But it's a good way to share information, and I did get some people off of my most recent posting before I had a meeting, so I find that useful. All right, so if we're done with committees, we'll do around the room. So we'll start in the Northwest. Anybody from the Northwest that wants to share?
Catherine's actually had it.
Oh, Catherine, you have your hand up? Catherine, yeah?
Never mind.
You're not interested, not right now. Okay, great. Back to Northwest.
This is Jody. I've been working with the library quite a bit. I'm doing a monthly program there now, and I'm finding that the librarians are a wonderful fount of knowledge on getting on how to work to get more people involved, on ideas for talking to people, and just general overall cooperation. And at the Ballard Library, we also have a fairly good sized plastic rack that takes a lot of forms and things so that we can get information out. So I recommend, if you haven't contacted your nearest library to see what they could do for you, that you do so. Maybe not this week, but sometime. Thank you.
Great. Anybody else from Northwest?
I have an announcement to make on behalf of Ross Park, who is activating June 1st. I think their box was broken into and everything was stolen, but the box is still there. They have an Eagle Scout in their area that has stood up. She is coordinating this drill. She is involving the scouts and training them on how to run a hub. She is just rocking, and she is just this whole project is her final Eagle Scout project or something like that. Anyway, she's just fascinating to work with. Really a lovely, lovely person. Her name is Lee Pina, P-I-N-A, I think. Anyway, she'll be there June 1st, Ross Park Hub.
Great. Thank you. All right, last call for Northwest. Okay, we'll switch over to Northeast. All right, well, I'm in the Northeast. My hub is not activating, but me and at least one other volunteer from my hub are going to go to the Wedgwood hub. I emailed Norma today, so that's our plan, and I'm looking forward to it, and that is on the 9th. Anybody else from Northeast?
Hi, Ellen here from Roosevelt, and we're not activating either, so thank you for the list of which places are, because the four of us will join you all someplace. I presume Northeast, so.
Northwest.
We're not activating till September. So
Yeah. Can I offer a bribe to come now?
Great.
Pam, did you want to mention your brand opening?
Did. We had finally our box got installed by Parks Department. Yay!
And it's a big
we had our
box.
grand opening, and I want to thank, in addition to Anne and Cindy, of course, Gabrielle and Jim and Matt for showing up and helping.
Yeah. Kudos, guys.
You're welcome.
You had a good crowd.
Smaller than we had for our skills fair, but everybody who came was super interesting, and I got some volunteers and another person to join our committee, our hub team.
That sounds great.
So that's cool.
All right. Anyone else Northeast? Last call. All right.
I'm not activating, but I'll be finding a spot for both dates most likely.
Okay, great. Thanks, Matt. Central West.
That would be the Queen Anne Hub that's activating on June 1st. For all our outreach to the community council and block watch captains and everything, we still only have about a handful of people signed up, so we could use all the help we can. Frank Gall, from the hub captain of Magnolia, and I have been working together, making all sorts of plans of how to lay out the hub itself and get everything set up and in line. So we're doing pretty good on getting things prepped. We just need more people to sign up. So go to the sign up and you'll see what's available, basically most everything. So hopefully you may find us helpful.
Great. Anyone else from that area?
Frank said,
Okay, I think Central Core is next.
Hi, this is Ann Bond. We are also activating on June 1st. Jody, you were kind enough to tell me you had some tent/canopies to lend me, but I wasn't sure how many you have. So maybe you can just private message me on that. I may still need more tents though, everyone. And I do have about 5 people signed up for roles, which makes me feel very exposed. And I'm hoping to get a few more before the date arrives. Anyway, things are, I think, easier than last year. Last year was really frightening doing it for the first time, so I'm less intimidated this year. And I'm grateful for all the help you've given, Anne. I think that's all.
Central East.
Hi.
Catherine.
Yeah, it's all hub event on June 9th, hub event on June 9th, hub event on June 9th right now. But I think we're in fairly good shape, and I'm looking for any kind of visual, anything anybody might have. If you have a banner, you have those little easel things that can go on the sidewalk, or something I can pick up and return to you. I'll put my email in the chat. And I did get some publicity materials. I have a few posters I can put in our, this is just for us close by. I'm going to promote Brayburn Hummer Harris in Madison Valley because I have an area I can ride on. And I'm going to try to get a poster in the Safeway near us, down at 23rd and Union, and my dentist's office down at MLK and Union, just a couple major corners, and have, 100 feet at Homer Harris, or half a mile at Burn Bray, or half a mile down the hill, and just do some nice printing. So that's that, and our mail out is pretty much what's on my mind at this second.
Okay, great. Cindy, you had a comment.
I want to ask Anne. Anne showed up at the Ravenna grand opening with little kind of like small sized advertisements for the hub. I don't think those are in the Google Drive, Anne. Because Catherine, if you're going to walk around dropping off flyers,
No,
you
I'm
just
going very specifically with very narrow time. I'm not doing handing out. But
no. You can drop them off on counters, right? They're like business card size.
Yeah, I
Okay.
know. Yeah, Ann gave us some, but they're actually going to Madison Valley because they're going to be doing real handing out.
Okay.
Those are good.
For everybody else, it just reminded me that's another way you can advertise. We'll dump it in the Google Drive and then you can make your own if you want. Great.
Yeah.
Thanks, Anne.
Yes, thank you.
I was just thinking, Ann, for those plastic H signs, the ones you described, that might be something we want to order in bulk as a group. Because you can probably get 100, way cheaper
A
than.
lot cheaper.
Yeah, so we've done that for the
Yeah.
radio station, so yeah. Let's see, West.
But I guess before we move on,
I'm sorry,
yeah.
Jean, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, obviously Brayburn, we're standing up too and still looking for folks to help out. So that's it.
West, Southwest, sorry.
So I'll see if Rita or Erica has anything they want to do. Otherwise, I'm going to report for 3 other hubs. No for Rita. Erica still doesn't have a building.
No. Well, we're gonna I've advertised the drill with Hope Lutheran to my folks. I'm not gotten commitments on how many people are gonna come, mostly because I just found out it's coinciding with White Center Pride Festival.
I know.
So I might not get a lot of volunteers.
Yeah, but the wrestling goes till 4, so. And that's one of my things for West Seattle. We've got, a bunch of hub captains and nobody's signing up on Dolores's list. So we just have to get in and twist arms to go, we know you're coming. Just let her know you're coming somehow. Cause she's freaked out. She's really got 3 positions signed up. And I'm like, there's 25 people who I have heard are going to go there. So we just need to let her know what's happening. So.
Okay, yeah. I signed up to be a greeter mostly because I know that tends to be one of the harder positions to do. So I told her, I was like, just whoever you need to train, just to have them stand next to me, and I'll just treat this as a training part to be a greeter.
Right. Okay, so, and I haven't signed up either, so who am I to talk? So I got to go do that. So my 3 reports are Fauntleroy. The church has had gear, but they had it stored in a really kind of like weird area. They wouldn't be able to get into the building if there was any damage to the building. So they're in the process of starting a grant to get a box. EC Hughes has not actually had a hub captain for about a year after Ian moved to New Zealand. And out of the woodwork, I got 2 people interested in reactivating that hub. So hopefully we'll, get that one back in line. And the third thing was the Bee Festival happened last weekend up at High Point. They had so much interest. This is the first time I've ever seen this. All the infographics were gone. And it wasn't like people just took handfuls. She engaged with people and talked with them. Just a super high level of interest in preparedness. It was fantastic. So that was, our one great thing. And then the last one is for all the West Seattle hub captains. I just heard this the other day. We actually secured booth time up at the Big Junction Summertime Festival. So I'll be looking for volunteers to help staff that. But that is like such a high visibility for hubs across the city. That's a big city draw. So I will be doing hubs for days at that event. I think we get 2 different slots. So
What
good news
day
from
is
West
that?
Seattle.
What day is that? I want to make sure I get on my calendar as soon as possible.
I'll put it in the chat. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
And southeast.
I got, am I the only southeast?
I can report for Rainier Beach after you.
Okay, all right. I have not yet signed up, but will. And today I put out the flyer and a whole blurb about everything to my whole mailing list. I got 180 people on my mailing list now. And we talked about it at our last meeting that the closest hubs to us on the 1st is Eastlake and on the 9th is Madison Valley. So, some people may, if they want to get the closest, that's where they'll go. But they have the list and they can choose. And so I'm trying to drum up people from my hub to sign up.
Right. I know this is a
Linda.
great. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Someone else was talking. Who is that?
I don't know, but I have a report.
Okay, Anne, please, or Cindy, please report. Yeah, and then I have a question for Anne.
Yeah, Rainier Beach is 2 things. Rainier Beach is not activating and they're all going to go help at Homer Harris. So that's cool. I think Catherine had heard that. And then there's a hub that is just new. It's one of the P-Patch hubs, the Leo Street P-Patch. And so we've been working a box transfer from the Ballard, upgrade. And so we'll be meeting with them and I've done training with them twice. And so now we're going to get that hub up and running. Linda?
Cindy, where is that P-Patch hub? Where's it located?
If I tell you, if you are standing on the hill above King County Airport and you're looking down on the runway, that's where it is. It's super far south and it's directly west of Rainier Beach.
Huh.
Gina?
Yeah, I was just gonna kind of a separate topic, but on the drills, we're also working to try to get some bikes involved. So there might be more information on that, especially for the folks on the 9th. So yeah.
Right. All right, anyone else that wants to give an update about something? Okay, and I was gonna ask you about the radio field days, but it looks like you just posted something about that. Okay, and that's the radio field day, not some other field day, right? That one there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Heavy ham radio
Yeah.
conference kind of thing.
Yeah. All right.
I just wanted to mention that last Saturday we had a pancake breakfast in Laurelhurst at St. Stephen's Episcopal Church. Ann helped us a lot. We also had a mini skills fair, sort of abbreviated. We learned a lot about what we're going to need to do for publicity for our real drill. I think we were somewhat stymied by the university street fair on the same day, and I don't know, it was good to see everybody in person from our neighborhood because we've just been having Zoom meetings, but we didn't have a fabulous turnout for the pancakes, the pancakes were fine. I don't think it was a problem. So anyway.
Great. All right, and Cindy, any last words before we log off? We're glad you're back in one piece, Cindy.
Yeah, thank you. Yep, nope, everybody just sign up, you know, like, so we know what's going on.
All right, good to see everyone. Take care.